The meeting will begin in 2 minutes. Good afternoon. Welcome to our first contract entity meeting for 2025. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We have a full meeting for you today. My name is Joy Weems. I am the Provider Services Manager for PHO Pre-K, and I will be your facilitator for today's meeting. So our welcome question today is, what is your favorite winter activity to do in your program? So this may be something that you do directly with the children and or staff, or something that your program does. So please write your responses in the chat. So I see play in the snow, so that's always fun. Make them, I assume that's the children, make them hot chocolate with crackers. That sounds delicious. Make hot cocoa with marshmallows is always a winner. It sounds about right, Erica. Indoor snowball fight. We saw that, we heard that this morning as well. We displayed pictures of families playing in the snow, so that was great. I'm sure you received pictures from Monday snow day. Staying warm with hot chocolate indoor snowball fight. Okay, great. Wait a few more seconds to see if any more come in. Toasting marshmallows and making s'mores. Oh, I love s'mores. So that's great. It's fantastic. Sometimes we have an inside snowball fight with paper and after cocoa. Okay, so I'm seeing the theme with the hot chocolate, the in-house, I should say, snowball fights. Okay. Discuss hobbies. Okay. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you for sharing. You have a lot more winter to go. Bring the snow indoors. Thank you, Melissa. So yes, that's fun because it's pretty cold outside. So to bring the snow indoors and be able to have an activity indoors sounds like a great idea. So I was just saying we have plenty of winter left. So you have plenty of time to do these activities. Okay, hot chocolate and marshmallows. Thanks, Patricia. Okay, well, we are going to move on with the meeting. Just want to share a few reminders. please remember to mute your computers and your phones. You can enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and there will be time allotted after each section for you to ask questions and for us to respond to your questions. Today's agenda includes a discussion about the FY26 seat selection, updates on the public pre-K teacher incentives. We will also discuss the Q3 deliverable checklist, which includes information about the mid-year expense report, required policies, teaching strategies gold, health assessments, kindergarten transition, plan and meeting. We are also excited to share with you that we will have presentations today from the PDO and the PAK. And then we also will share quality support updates. We'll discuss the new enhanced model for ECMH and family navigation, as well as receive a presentation from our Spark Quality Support Center. So at this point, we will get started with our contract updates, and I will turn it over to Carrie.
Thanks, Joy. Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Lee. I'm the contracts manager, and I'll start you off here. So first, we're talking about FY26 seat selection. We did things, if you've been in the system for a little bit, we did things a little bit differently than we did last year for providers with an active contract this year. This is because we wanted to move up the timeline to open free Philly pre-K applications in mid-January. So in about November, we asked you to complete a continuation form to tell us if you intend to continue in PHL pre-K next year and how many seats you're requesting. Initial notices were sent out earlier this week on Monday. So you may, as just a reminder, you should have received the same level of funding as you have this year, unless you ask for a decrease. If you ask for an increase in seats, those requests won't be considered or awarded until spring 2025. So if you did have that request in, there's no need to contact us again about an increase. We have your application or your continuation form information. If you are interested in applying for a new site, those applications are open, and the deadline to apply is January 21st at noon. I'm going to drop the website in here. You can access the online platform, the application information session recordings, and all the application materials on the website. And then you will need to apply on the online platform if you're interested by the deadline. Okay. So next is public pre-K teacher incentives. So many providers submitted for teacher incentives for the first round, and those submissions are still under review. We hope to make the first cycle of payments by February 15th. The second cycle will open in early 2025, and we'll send out a communications when that is available. Employees must be employed in the program at a point during the cycle period, which is October 15th, 2024 to February 15th, 2025, and be employed when the payments are distributed to providers. And just a reminder that all credentials are verified in the PD registry, and staff must be assigned to PHMC classrooms in the PD registry as well. The FY25 Q3 deliverables checklist is available here. I will drop this in the chat as well. So just a reminder, you may have seen we did start these checklists this year. We had a Q1 and Q2 one. These checklists these really aim to help providers prepare for major deliverables in the quarter, and your progress will be discussed at your provider service specialist check. Okay, so please check out the Q3 deliverables checklist. Health assessment monitoring is coming up. Just a reminder that we verify at least one health assessment, including immunization, has been obtained in the past year. Documentation should be entered into childware 60 days from the child's start date. And kindergarten transition monitoring is coming up as well. So kindergarten transition plans should have been created within 60 days of a child's entry date and uploaded into Childware. Kindergarten transition meetings should have been held with families to discuss education options for kindergarten by January 1st. And then just a reminder to please document kindergarten registration in Childware by May 31st. It's that time of year for mid-year expense reporting again. So all providers need to complete the FY25 mid-year expense report, and these are due on January 31st. We adjusted the template just a little bit from last year, only to combine the line item budget with the expense report template. So they're all in the same template now. Please use your approved line item budget template to add in your expenses for your mid-year in the separate tabs. If you do need a copy of that template of your approved line item budget, please contact the PHL Pre-K inbox and we can send that to you. And we have lots of resources available if you need any help. There's instructions, a video tutorial. Those are both linked in the template. We also have an expense resource guide that has definitions and examples of allowable expenses as well. And we're also just happy to walk you through the template one-on-one if you'd like. We can set up a Zoom call and do that at a time that's convenient for you. So if you're interested in that, you can email the PHL Pre-K inbox as well. You all may remember you submitted PHL Pre-K policies way back in July 2024 when you submitted exhibits. So your PHL Pre-K policies have all been reviewed. Some of you did receive notices that your policies need to be revised because they were missing some things. Some also received Spark referrals as well. This is just a reminder that the deadline to complete revised revisions on the policies is February 28th. And then resources are available on the FY25 deliverables landing page. We did send out this year a PHL Pre-K policy guidance workbook that's available at this link that I'm dropping in the chat. Okay, now I think I will throw it back to Joy.
Thanks, Carrie. So we wanted to provide some updates about the emergency closure forms. Just want to remind you that in the event of an emergency, please submit the emergency closure form within 24 hours. If you would like to offer remote learning, please keep in mind that the request has to be approved by the Office of Children and Families. I want to note that we understand that multiple programs closed on Monday because of the snow day. And so the notification that we sent out did state that any program with an approved remote learning plan could offer remote instruction on Monday. So in an instance like that, you did not have to request approval. We gave approval when we sent the notification. But if you are submitting a standalone emergency closure form, please remember that remote learning instruction has to be approved by OCF. Also, providers will be required to adjust the program calendar if the closure results in less than 180 days of service. So if you closed on Monday and you did not offer remote instruction and you only accounted for 180 days of service, then you must make up Monday. Your provider service specialist will follow up with you so that you can adjust your calendar. If you closed on Monday and did not submit an emergency closure form, please submit the form so that we will have record of you closing. At this time, I will turn it over to Cassandra.
Hi, everyone. Okay. Hi, everyone. So just gonna go over quickly how we're doing as a system with enrollment. So right now, as of this past Monday, we're using 90% of our PHL Pre-K slots. So there are 4,682 children enrolled in PHL Pre-K out of our 5,225 total allocated slots. Just a reminder that sites should always be working towards 100% enrollment, or if you're at 100% enrollment, working toward building a wait list. These slides will be made available on Friday in the newsletter, and when they are, you can click on this enrollment and waitlist protocol link to just serve as a reminder for what that protocol looks like. But great job, everybody. We're really happy to see this at 90%. And then I'm going to turn it over briefly to Jennifer, who will talk about slot analysis.
Good afternoon. Yes, slot analysis. Providers are expected to be fully enrolled with a waitlist and to maintain 100% enrollment throughout the school year. Each month, we hold a slot analysis meeting to review approved enrollments, vacancies, and waitlists as reported in Childware to understand where enrollment recruitment supports are needed. For our 30-day vacancies, programs that have seats that have been vacant for 30 days or more must have a current enrollment and recruitment plan on file, identifying action steps to generate new enrollments. And slot reallocation. Please note if the seats are not filled within 30 days of notification or have been vacant for a total of up to 120 days or more, seats will be at risk for slot reallocation. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. I'll turn it back over to Cassandra.
Hi, everyone. So some quick data updates, data team updates. So first of all, ASQ Online, excuse me, and just some quick reminders about rolling objectives for ASQ Online. So just a reminder that as children enroll at your program throughout the year, to just stay mindful of the 45-day window in which you need to enter those screenings into ASQ Online. We're still looking at that throughout the year. And then if you have any children who were due for a rescreen, just a reminder that you should do follow up on that and enter that rescreening into ASQ Online. There are tools within there. Maybe you left yourself a task reminder, but there's also tools to mark that you're doing a rescreen. And so you can have a record of that and refer back. If the child is with your program next year, you'll just have that all in one place. So just a reminder that you can enter that in there as well. Okay, and then our teaching strategies / Smart Teach winter checkpoint is coming up on February 17th. And we're doing some data checks before that to see how you guys are doing. So on January 15th, we'll be doing a documentation and assessment check. So we'll be looking at documentation counts for all sites and looking to see how your assessment progress is going. And then we do our final assessment check 2 weeks about before the checkpoint. And we'll just be looking at assessment at that point. Most of your children should be finalized around this time or starting to be finalized around that time. And then February 17th is the checkpoint when all children should be finalized at 100% of all areas. And all children should have at least one piece of documentation per area, per child in all areas. You can have a piece of documentation that applies to multiple children, and we're cognizant of that, but that's the requirement. So just, be aware of that. And if you're having access issues for any of your teachers or as an administrator, now is the time to let us know so we can hopefully get you in there so that you're all set for the checkpoint on the 17th. And I'll drop my email in the chat in case you're realizing right now that you've been meaning to email about this. So thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Cassandra. So before we start the presentation from the PDO, I'm just going to check and see if we have any questions in the chat. So it looks like we have a question. If we followed our approved, says FIP, do we need to make up the day? Melissa, can you tell me what FIP stands for? You can put it in the chat if you want, because I'm not sure. Oh, your flexible instruction plan. So So if that is similar to our remote learning plan, if you offer remote learning and, follow the information that you have in your plan, then no, you do not need to make up the day. So providers only need to make up the day if they close and do not implement remote learning for the day. And please remember that you can only implement remote learning if you have an approved remote learning plan. I hope that answered your question. If not, Melissa, let me know in the chat and I'll provide more information. Okay, great. Okay, I don't see any other questions. So we are going to move on to the PDO presentation. So I will turn the meeting over to Zaida Velez from the ECE PDO at PHMC.
Hello, everyone. I don't know why I cannot. I'm so dark. Okay. All of a sudden, everything was dark. So, the ECEPDO coordinate career pathway services for eligible members of the incumbent workforce in Philadelphia, Bucks County, Chester, Delaware, and Montgomery counties. And this is for teachers and providers working with fully funded CCW children. This part is a little bit tricky with PHLPK providers because of the PHLPK funding. So if you have any question, we can talk and we can provide career advising for PHLPK providers. Staff members working with infant, toddlers, and aftercare might be eligible for funding, but the teachers working fully and full-time with pre-K children won't be eligible for funding. The PD also offer career advising resources to support the workforce on their move up on the career pathways. So every staff member is eligible for career advising, where we talk to them and explore their goals and the steps that they need to take to meet the career pathways. We fund the CDA, AA, and BA programming, including apprenticeship with Learn and Earn pathways. This is in collaboration with First Up. And we offer funded resources to reduce or remove equity-based gaps. So this is include coursework offering online for the workforce, support with tuition and tutoring, and support with technology. If you or any of your staff member would like to receive some career advising, to explore their options, they can email us at the ecepdo@phmc.org. Our website is here. You are more than welcome to come to the ecepdo.phmc.org and see the criteria and the eligibility. We also welcome everybody to register for or sign up for our newsletter, also at the same website as the criteria. And if you need more information, resources about IHE and our partner, please visit the ecehired.ed.org. And also, we are sharing our number in case you would like to call us and contact us directly. Thank you. Any question?
I will check the chat. Let's see. We have a question. Can you explain about teachers that are not being funded?
I am not sure if I understand the question, but the program is funded to support CCW funded providers and teachers. They are funded programs that receive either other funding like pre-K count, like statewide funding or citywide funding are not eligible for the funding.
What is the funding for? For them to continue their education?
Yes, yes. So it's to continue their education and attain and move up on the career pathway. So to become a level A, B, C, on the career pathways, yes.
So if they have an associate's degree and they work with PHL and there's only 3 students that are not PHL, they are CCIS, do they qualify or not?
No, they have to work with fully funded CCW children. However, if you are able to attest that the staff member works a minimum of 25 hours a week with non-PHRPK children, then that person might become eligible, yes.
But if there is 18 children in the classroom, 14, and 13 are PHL and 1 is not, they're still not qualified?
It's still, because as the criteria for PHL pre-K, if one child is funded by PHL pre-K, the classroom becomes a PHL pre-K classroom, so no.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. And we also have a comment in the chat that it is challenging to meet criteria and approve waivers if we cannot access funding for the teachers. So thanks, Melissa, for that comment. And I know as a system, we continue to explore just different ways that we can provide more funding or at least connect PHL pre-K providers to resources that have funding.
Yeah, we do that. If the person is not funded, is not eligible for PHL pre-K, we explore other sources of funding and share the information with the staff member.
We have a question. Is CCP a funded school? I guess maybe I guess that question is like, are they like a community partner with PDL or consider an IAG?
Yeah, it is considered an IHG, and they do have partnership with us and provides a coursework to PDL funded students.
And then we have another comment. So PHL pre-K classrooms can only have PHL pre-K children. So we do have plenty of providers that have blended classrooms. So some providers have only PHL pre-K children. Other providers have blended classrooms. So I don't know, Joanne, if that was a question or, were you just asking for confirmation? But, it really does vary by provider. So, okay, and I see some people say they have blended classrooms. All right. Zaida, I don't know if you would have this information, but for classrooms that are not funded, right? Teachers that cannot receive this funding because they teach PHL pre-K children, are those teachers eligible for other state funding, right? So like Teach, they would be eligible to apply for something like Teach It, right?
Yeah, they will be available, eligible to apply for Teach funding. They just need to make sure that they meet the eligibility, because each project has their own criteria. So it's just, we welcome them to go to the Teach website and make sure that they do meet the eligibility. We do not complete the application for them. We just talk about their options and things that they need to take in consideration.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I would assume that's part of the career advising, right? So
It is part of the career advising, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That was helpful. It looks like we don't have any additional questions. Joanne, I am writing down your comment because I think I want to follow up with you offline to make sure that I understand your question. Okay, so I'm just documenting it and I will follow up with you within the next 24 hours. Okay, and it also looks like we have another question. Since we are paid for 5.5 hours only, is it absolutely mandatory that we run the program for 6 hours? So I'm not sure if I completely understand that question. So the question refers to that PHL pre-K providers are paid for 5.5 instructional hours. And then it says, do we have to run the program for 6 hours? So I'm not sure if you are referring to offering a nap, and that's where the additional 30 minutes comes from. So I may need a little bit more information about that question. So Joanne, again, when I follow up with you about the comment about the child that was in need, I will also get more clarity from you about that question. Okay, but just to reiterate that, yes, PHL Pre-K has 5.5 instructional hours that providers are funded for. Okay, all right, thank you. All right, and thank you, Zaida. That was very helpful.
Thank you. Have a good day.
So at this time, we are going to have a presentation from the PA Key. We know that you often have questions as providers about how to apply, reapply for your career pathway level. We get asked questions about how the ECE credits are counted, as well as questions about foreign degrees. And so we have Janae and Stephanie with us today, who will present on this information and also answer any questions that you have. So I will turn it over to Stephanie, I believe.
Hi, I'm Steph. I'm one of the verifiers for the career pathway, and I'm actually the verifier that is assigned to Philly Pre-K. So we're just going to read through pretty quickly, and that way we can get to any questions that you guys might have, and you can drop in the chat along the way. So the agenda is we're going to go over the career pathway overview, understanding the verification process, the application timeline, and helpful tips. All right, we're going to go over the overview. So the first slide we're going to talk about is the Pennsylvania Early Childhood Education Career Pathway Levels and Qualification Achievements chart. So you can find this on our website. I always recommend that directors have this printed out just for a resource, so you don't have to constantly log onto the website. But you can look at each level that somebody would qualify for. Under each level, it basically tells you how that person can get there. Very short and sweet and basic, but it's a nice tool to help along the way. Next. So understanding the verification process. So first we review the transcripts and credentials. So the career pathway verifiers review the applicant's self-reported information under their education tab. We identify the degree and the major. So we review what the degrees and the majors are, whether they're child specific, such as early childhood education, elementary, related or unrelated. And then we move on to counting credits. We verify if it is an ECE specific course, a related or an unrelated course. Next. So counting early childhood credits. So the first one we would look at is early childhood courses. These would be yellow on the transcripts. Once we verify, and you would be able to look at the transcripts. So the courses are designated as early childhood education, child development, and etc. They receive full credit on the career pathway. Related courses, these courses are related to, but not specifically early childhood education. They receive 1 credit on the career pathway. And the next one is elementary and special education for student teaching. These receive half credit on the career pathway. Next. So that just goes over the colors that you would see on the highlighted version of the transcripts that we returned back once you're placed on the pathway. So full credit would be highlighted yellow, and related would be highlighted pink. So reviewing college transcripts. So the first thing that we need to look at to see if we can even verify the transcripts for higher education would be the individual's name, the confer date if they reported a graduation, the name of the institution, a major and a minor if they have one, all courses, all grades, and all credits earned. Next. So we require that the higher education institution is regionally accredited, not just nationally accredited. A regional accredited requires much stricter than just a nationally accredited. And we suggest making sure that students know if they are going to a school that is regionally accredited. Next. So foreign degree evaluations. So the process would begin by having the person needing the evaluation to collect all their documents that they have related to their degree. The next step would be to select a member from NACES or ACE. So it has to be a member from NACES or ACE. That is one thing that we seem to be having a little bit of an issue with. And we're hoping just to kind of spread the word. You can find their website. Both of their websites are on our website. They're on incomplete emails that we send out. We are going to have a QR code on this PowerPoint that you can go to. So NACES and ACE both have multiple people underneath of them that you can pick from. Each member has their own process, their own timelines, and their own price ranges. You can use anybody that is a member, but it has to be a member of NACES or ACE that does the evaluation for us to verify. Next. So if you are reporting a higher education, such as bachelor's, master's, doctorate, it needs to be a course-by-course evaluation, so we are able to count the ECE credits. We recommend retaining the receipt for potential reimbursement, which I believe right now is $150 for the reimbursement, and they are working towards possibly changing that, hopefully. Evaluations from other organizations or individuals are not accepted for reimbursement or for placement. And this is not just a translation. We need an evaluation for the US equivalent. Next. So basically, this just follows up about the reimbursement. Reimbursement is available through the foreign degree evaluation with the form that we have the link to here. The applications are processed as they are received. Payment will not be made until the documentation is received in its entirety. Payments are made once per quarter and allow 12 weeks for processing. And then we also have the link directly that we could send out if you cannot find it on the website, but it is on the website as well. Next.
All right. I am Janae Wright. I am the Career Pathway Coordinator with the PA Key, and I'm going to be finishing off the second half of our presentation. So the third thing we are going to discuss is the application timeline. Where does my application go? So the applicant will submit the information. The application then moves into the queue, and then a career pathway verifier will review the application. So Philly Pre-K queue. A verifier is assigned to Philly Pre-K applications. And right now that is Steph, who just presented. She will check that daily. And in order for that person to go into that queue, you have to be assigned to a Philly Pre-K classroom in order for her to get it placed in this queue so you don't go into the general queue. If for any reason you feel like it's been a long time since it's been processed, over a week, maybe even more, you want to check to make sure that you were actually placed into that Philly Pre-K classroom, because if you were not, it will not show up in this queue and staff will not get it. And you may just have been placed in the general queue. Next, please. So for some helpful tips, what if I am not assigned to a classroom yet? So this is a question we get a lot, especially from directors who are looking to hire, but don't know where a person may fall. We now have a process. That person would need to upload all of their education to their registry profile. Then they will need to complete a career pathway placement review form. That form can be found on our PAQ website. And then when you do complete that form, you're going to make sure you write Philly Pre-K at the top of the form and also include it in the subject of the email. That form would then be sent to Donna Winterholt. She is the career pathway supervisor. She will then review all of the information that is submitted and then get back to you on where that person may fall. Next, please. Common application delays to avoid. Some applications can be delayed due to incomplete educational information, outdated certificates, and lack of proof of current enrollments. Be sure to check the PD Registry Career Pathway Education Checklist to ensure that you have everything you need before you begin your application. So the image that you see to the right, that is a checklist that we have created to help you make sure that everything you self-report on your education tab has the appropriate documents uploaded with it. This checklist also can be found on the PAQ website under the Career Pathway page. Next. Notices of incompletion. So say you submit your application, you say you have a bachelor's degree, you don't upload your transcripts for it. You will receive an incomplete notice. That notice will be emailed to you, and it also will show up in your notes section on your profile. And that notes section is at the bottom of the summary page on your registry profile. You're going to want to make sure you check the notes section of your career pathway profile every time you log in, because it can contain specific information that we may need to move your application forward. And again, like I said, check your email because we also will email it to you. Next, please. Reconciliation of accounts. Applications for each account, they are reconciled at the end of each working day. And then you will be credited to your new career pathway at the end of that day that it was processed. Next. Career pathway verifier audits. These audits are completed monthly. This is just to ensure the accuracy of the placements of people. And 3 accounts are done per verifier a month. Right now we're averaging 92% accuracy. Next. And I just want to open it up now to if anyone has any questions or concerns. This slide does include me and staff's emails. It also includes Donna Winterholt's email. If you have any questions specifically to this presentation or to Philly Pre-K, please feel free to reach out. And I'm also going to add the email address for any general information or questions that you have. You will want to then email the registry at paqs.org. Then that will make sure that your message gets to the correct person. So if it's not about this presentation or Philly Pre-K, you want to then submit that question to the general email address. But at this time, again, I'm going to open it up. Does anyone have any questions for me or staff?
I think some questions came in, Janae.
Okay.
Okay. Could you please clarify the education funding? That may have been for our previous presentation. So the question is, would you please clarify the education funding is the Rising Stars tuition assistance? So I believe that was for the PDL. So Janitha, we'll make sure you get that question answered. Okay. Can you verify the related degrees? That's for you guys?
Okay, so for the related degrees, we are currently using, basically it's any degrees that are related to human services. And I believe that there is a list online that, shows degrees related to human services. But did you have a specific question or?
Yeah, it looks like that was the question. Raphael, if you want us, if you have additional information related to that question, you can put it in the chat. And so then we
Hey,
had our next
Joy,
question.
Joy.
Yes.
Those related degrees Donna has shared with us, and they actually appear in everyone's contract in the staff qualifications section as a footnote. They also are, I believe, available on the staff qualifications landing page, right? More recently, we put them out in either the last provider newsletter or the provider newsletter before that. So I'll make sure that that gets put again into the provider update this week as well.
Okay, great, great. Thanks,
Thank you,
Leslie.
Leslie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Raphael, if there's something else that you were asking, just let us know, but I think that might answer your question. Then the next question is, does colleges who have, does NC SARA state authorization reciprocity are included in the regionally accredited? I don't know if that, I'm not sure what that
Personally, I'm
means.
not sure what that means.
Yeah.
Staff, have you heard of that?
No, I was actually Googling it when I was reading the chat. I've actually never heard of it before. Is there a specific institution that you were referring to, or it looks like they can apply for some membership, but I'm not sure what it is exactly.
So some states have the reciprocity, so there would be accounted as a regional accredited school. I see it on my school website. It's through the American College of Education. They have like a responsible, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They have that, and Pennsylvania is on the list as one of the school, as one of the states that accepts it. So I wanted to know if you were aware of that.
I was not. We actually we follow on, it's something called CHIA. So basically we look up every institution to keep up to date with their accreditation. Just because, you know, people can lose accreditation and whatnot. So we actually have to look up everybody's accreditation as we're verifying. But we'll have to look a little bit more into that because I've never heard of that before.
I'll send it to Joy and she can forward it to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hey, looks like we have another question. Can you explain why teachers who make a worthy wage are not eligible for Rising Stars? Again, that might be a question for our former presentation. So we'll make sure that that question gets answered as well. And what's the name of the organization that evaluates foreign degrees again? Joanne, we will have a copy of the PowerPoint in the provider update on Friday. So the name of the organization will be on the PowerPoint. Okay. All right, thanks. And staff, if you want to drop the name in the chat as well, that would be fine. But we'll also include the PowerPoint. You know, the providers will get it on Friday.
Sure, I'll actually put the websites on there because each website has multiple members you can pick from.
Great, thank you. Okay, looks like we may have a comment/question. Some teachers' college credits are not counted fully if they've taken previous courses. For example, if social work was the degree, would the class taken be considered 1 or 3 credits towards ECE?
I can answer that one. So for this instance, we don't look at the major as what each course will receive. It's strictly course by course. So it would depend on the course that is on the transcript. One that's common that almost every transcript includes that is considered one credit or partial would be like intro to psychology. That would be given one. So it doesn't matter the major or the degree that was earned, it's more so the course that was taken. And then again, for a 3 credit towards an ECE, like if it's a ECE course or a child specific course, then that will get the full credit. So some are 3 credits, some are 4 credits. And then again, the student teachings, if it's ECE, of course, we get the full amount.
Great, thanks. We got a thumbs up for that response. Thank you. Looks like we have another question. I have a staff with a preschool CDA credential and transfer student to CCP. So it sounds like the staff person has a preschool CDA credential and has now transferred to CCP. Whom should we speak to have the transcript audit and CDA transferred?
Are you saying, I guess I'm trying to understand the question fully. Are you saying how to get that information updated so that their career pathway level may move up?
Yes, correct. So I have a staff member. She started out at Lincoln University.
Okay.
She has her CDA and she transferred to CCP. And not only are they not acknowledging the CDA, but none of her transfer credits. So we reached out to Dr. Sai at CCP. I'm not sure if she's still there or not. We haven't heard anything yet. But we don't want her to, repeat like ECE 101 and so forth if she has a validated CDA and college credits that should have been transferred.
Okay, so this is a 2-part thing. I would say first, for the career pathway piece, we don't necessarily deal with what each college or institution will accept as transferable credits. I would say you also might want to reach out to the PDO. They could probably answer that question better for you because this is more so like what the person needs to advance in their career. So I would say reach out to your PDO for those specific questions. I also will say, if the person went to a regionally accredited institution for the first credits and they were actual college credits that were given, and then they switched to another regionally accredited institution, they can upload both transcripts. And then we will look at the older, like both transcripts and count from them as long as they're both regionally accredited. We don't need to see that what CCP took or not. Does that make sense?
Okay. It does.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Janae, it looks like we have a couple of more providers who are stating that they had the same challenge, I guess, with CCP.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say that's a PDO question or something they'd be able to look further into. But
Okay.
again, upload both. That's what I would say to you. Upload both transcripts from both schools. And as long as they're both regionally accredited, we will look at both credits, all the credits, basically.
Right.
And may I add, sorry,
Sure.
this same employee does not qualify for Rising Stars. We were told that CCP does not qualify for Rising Stars. So I
Okay.
guess, again, that's Ms. Velez. We need to.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah. She would have all those answers for you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Zaida's information will also be included in the PowerPoint, but I can actually put her email address right now in the chat for you. If you want to reach out to her before you get the PowerPoint. Okay, I think that concludes I think that concludes our questions. So thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, Janae and Steph, for your wonderful presentation. So we received a lot of information and thank you for answering our questions.
You're welcome, and thank you for having us. Again, if anyone else has any more questions, please feel free to reach out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So at this time, I will share some updates regarding early childhood mental health and family navigation. So we have enhanced our model for family navigation and ECMH consultation. So the first set of bullets on this slide really describes some of the supports that we have always provided, particularly for family navigation. We support families of children referred to Elwyn or are in the pipeline of being referred. We support families with accessing appropriate funding for behavioral health services, and not only the funding, but we also support in the child being able to get behavioral health services if needed. Our family navigator attends IEP meetings. Our family navigator really navigates communication between Elwyn, the provider, and the family. So those are some of the things that we have always done and supports we've always provided. However, we have enhanced our model where each provider will receive a family navigator that is assigned to you. Currently, we have Lauren Wiegand, who is our family navigator. We are in the process of hiring another family navigator. So Lauren and the second family navigator will have a caseload of providers that will be assigned to them. So where you submit the request form for family navigation, you will continue to do that. However, because now you will have a family navigator assigned to you, they will also be reaching out to you to see if there's any support that we can provide. So they'll start to do regular check-ins with you. Also, the family navigators will be reviewing the ASQ scores to see if those scores result in a referral. We know that the scores do not tell the whole story, so that's why we will follow up with you as the provider to see, we have the score, what else is going on with this child, and can we help get the referral submitted to Elwyn and then help to navigate that process. So for early childhood mental health consultation, some of the supports that we've always provided, we provide in-person support and consultation for referred children in PHL pre-K. Our consultants provide social emotional teaching strategies, modeling, and visual aids. We support PHL pre-K programs and parents in accessing more intensive services. And I do want to highlight that one because our consultants can write summaries that we submit to Elwyn if there is a reevaluation or an evaluation to see if a child is eligible for Tier 3 supports. So we do provide that support, as well as our consultants attend IEP meetings so that they can share their observations as well. And often that will help to get the Tier 3 supports and to get the supports more quickly. And then we also provide home visits. So this is a part of our model that is different from the typical ECMH consultation model. So those home visits can be in the format of a phone call or a virtual meeting, but we also provide in-person home visits. And often families do not take us up on the in-person home visits, but it does happen. And this year we actually provided a few in-person home visits where our consultant was able to go into the home and meet with the parents and see the child in their home environment and be able to provide supports and strategies. So some of the supports that we are adding as a part of our enhanced model include the consultant that's assigned to you. And I should say that just like with family navigation, you will have an ECMH consultant that will be assigned to you. And so the consultant will be checking in with you regularly to see if you need support. You will still need to submit the form if you need child-specific consultation, because we do have to have that document submitted and it has to go to the PA key, who will triage it to us. However, because you will have a consultant assigned to you, this will actually create, build a relationship between you and the consultant. So they'll be following up with you. They will also be reviewing ASQ SE scores to see if children results scored in the threshold where they need a referral. They'll follow up because, once again, the scores do not tell the whole story, but we do want to get the whole story of what's going on to see if the child needs support. Your assigned ECMH consultant will also provide professional development. This professional development is different from what you will receive from your coach, your Spark coach. So your Spark coach provides PD around classroom management, general behavior management, those types of things. But for the ECMH consultant, they will provide PD that is specifically around child-specific, support. So for example, engaging PCAs, right? We know that that has been a challenge for some of our providers because, not all PCAs, but some PCAs enter the programs and they're on their cell phones or they're not really focused on the child or, you may be having other challenges. And so we really want to support you in being able to engage that PCA and get the best outcome for the child and for you as the provider. I talked about the regular check-ins, and then the final additional support that we will provide is high frequency, high impact model. So we have piloted this model and it worked really well. However, it's a little difficult to do with one consultant. So now that we will have multiple consultants, we will be able to implement this model. And this model includes the consultant coming out to your program 2 to 3 times a week, continuing to work with the teacher, provide strategies, do modeling, whatever is needed to really support the teacher. And so we will do this. It's a pretty quick model. So it may be like 2 to 3 times a week, and it is for more hours than we currently provide. So usually our observation is about 2 hours. With the high frequency, high impact model, we're talking about 2 to 3 times a week, and we're talking about either a half day or a full day in the classroom, really seeing the child's behaviors and really supporting the teacher. This is not available for every child, of course. So we will use this model, especially when a PCA has been approved for a child, but has not been deployed to the center yet. And we know that often happens that it takes some time to actually get the PCA in the center. So we can use that model to bridge the gap between being approved for a child being approved for the PCA and then actually getting the PCA supports. And so on the screen, we have Dora Davis, who is one of our ECMH consultants. I'm sure many of you know Dora if you have requested ECMH consultation in the past. But I also want to introduce you to Rosalie Brown. Rosalie was formerly a provider service specialist and will now be an ECMH consultant. So we want to say welcome, Rosalie, to the ECMH consultation team. So again, if you need child-specific consultation for an individual child, you should still complete the request for service form. That will go to the PA key, and then they will triage it to us. Once we receive the form, we do follow up within about 24 hours. We'll do an intake and then schedule the first observation. Please be prepared to have your ASQ SE completed and or behavior logs, because we do like to review those so that we can get an idea of what's happening with the child before we come out to the program. And for family navigation, please submit the Family Navigator request form. These are active links, so once you get the PowerPoint, you will be able to access these forms, and we always have these links in the provider update as well. So I'm going to see if there are any questions. If you are already working with the Family Navigator, are we going to be assigned a new navigator? No. So if you are currently working with Lauren, any program that is currently working with Lauren will stay with Lauren. So we do not want to disrupt the working relationship that you have with her. So that was a good question. No, you will keep Lauren. Looks like that's the only question that we have. All right, well, I am going to, yes.
Joy, can I just give follow-up before you move on to the next, about the related fields list? That apparently did
Sure.
not, make it into the provider update yet, so it will go in on Fridays. Okay, it'll be a PHL pre-K staff qualifications and PD registry like quick reference guide that will include a couple of different things, but will include that list. Okay.
Great. Thanks, Leslie. Okay. I also, actually, before we turn it over to Spark, I also want to mention regarding our new model for ECMH consultation that we will also partner with the PA Key for virtual office hours. So we are aware that many of our providers have participated in the PA Key's virtual office hours. So moving forward, I anticipate we'll start in February. Our ECMH consultants will be part of those virtual office hours. So for PHL pre-K providers that sign up for those office hours, you will speak to one of our ECMH consultants. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to our Spark Quality Support Center, and I believe Lauren's presenting this afternoon.
I am. Thanks, Joy. Hi, everyone. Lauren Merrill. I'm one of the coaching managers with Spark Quality Support Center. And as you know, we're responsible for delivering high-quality support services directly to providers participating in the PHL Pre-K program. Next slide. So there's many types of professional development and learning opportunities that we offer. Things like live trainings, lunch and learns, communities of practice, some special initiatives, and on-demand trainings. And you can click next. There are 3 areas or pathways that we're invested in cultivating your capacity in at Spark. And they are curriculum and instruction, supporting children and families, and business and leadership. And you can click next. Each of these areas, in each of these areas, we strive to align the PHL Pre-K deliverables, ongoing coaching and quality supports, and complementary consulting and resources. Next slide. Spark offers scheduled part day and full day PD offerings throughout the year. And we can also schedule something specifically for your program based on your request and your needs. Training requests can be for on-site or virtual trainings and can be developed to ensure alignment with your program's professional development and continuous quality improvement goals. And there's also currently a variety of offerings through the Positive Behavior Support Training Series through the end of this school year. And I'll be putting links for everything in the chat when I'm done. Next slide. There's 2 resources here regarding TSG and kindergarten transition support. These are hot topics coming up with all of the deadlines and things. So there's a great article regarding how much documentation is needed and a short video on how to add that documentation. We also have 2 PD opportunities listed here that you can request to have them at your location. And you can check our events calendar for any offerings for these and others that we may have coming up. And we also want to kind of note that the connection to the STAR standards with these trainings. We try to make sure everything is connected in as many possible ways. Next slide. And then this is just our website and our help desk information. And I will be placing all of the links that I mentioned in the chat. And that's all I have today. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thanks, Lauren. Okay, just wanted to make sure we didn't have any questions. Looks like we do not. Okay, thank you. So I just want to go over the dates to remember. So we have our TSG documentation and assessment checkpoint. This means that our data team will be pulling data regarding documentation and assessment, and that will happen on January 15th. If we have any questions or feel the need to follow up with you, your provider service specialist will follow up with you once we do that data pull. Also, the new provider applications are due on January 21st. The mid-year expense report is due on January 31st. There will be a Teaching Strategies Goal final assessment check on February 4th. Again, your provider service specialist will receive that data, and they will follow up if there's any questions or to inquire about support needed. On February 15th, the first cycle of public pre-K teacher incentive payments are scheduled to go out. The Smart Teach checkpoint is February 17th, and the required PHL pre-K policy revisions are due February 28th. I will check to see if we have any additional questions, and we do not. So we want to thank you for joining our meeting today, and we hope that everyone continues to have a safe and warm week. Thank you.